So that's a question that people don't, I think, ask enough and talk about enough is let's develop a success plan here. But it's important because especially if you're trying to motivate yourself, your company, and your vision, having that plan of success and what you're planning to do is crucial.
Joe Paranteau, welcome to the ROI Online Podcast.
Amazing, right?
So how do you manage sales activity?
I think sales activity comes from having strong goals. One of the things that I've always started with is that dream. Coming from the background that I've had, I've had big dreams, and there's people out there who will squelch your dreams and say, you can't do that. Even writing this book, I had people who are like, you shouldn't write a book. You're kind of putting yourself out there. It's you're exposing yourself. Do you really want to do that? I'm like, yeah, I kind of do want to do that. I think that there's an important message that I could share with people that is going to be helpful to them. And I know these experiences right now are going to help people get back to work. They're going to help their businesses grow. They're going to help them be more effective. I've been trained. I used to sell to sales leaders as my target market. As part of that, selling orientation, I had to get trained in pretty much every sales methodology out there. And I've had success and actually been a study group for different sales methodologies where people had said, hey, we're going to base our sales methodology on some of the things that you're doing. That's when the light hit me that maybe what I do deserves to be something that I could use to help people on. And that's something that I always wonder about when you're reading these sales books. You're like, has this person been in the trenches? Have they looked customers eyeball to eyeball? Have they been rejected? Do they know what it's like to be in a competitive situation? Have they dealt with sales managers and all the litany of other things that you have to go through in a sales career? And with me, they don't have to wonder because I've been through it, seen it, done it, got the t-shirt and the bruises.
Okay, so here's another question I wanted to ask. So fill in the blank at the end. A good sales manager knows that blank.
What motivates his people?
How do you figure that out?
Spend time with them. Ask them questions. The answers will come in between the things that you're actually doing. When you prep for a meeting, ask questions. Hey, tell me about the meeting that we're going to have tomorrow. Great. What do you want to know? Well, just, what's the plan? How have you been prepping for it? Tell me a little bit about what their business pain is and how you see our outcomes. That'll tell you a lot. You're asking questions. You're being curious. A lot of times, this is how the prep will go. Hey, we've got this meeting tomorrow. Let me see your call plan. And then it's all judgmental. Oh, this call plan is not very good. What'd you do? You drew this with a crayon. You spent 10 minutes on it. And the salesperson's like, what? That's what I get. But when you're engaging, you're curious, you ask questions, you're seeking to learn and understand and view the world from their position, you'll learn about them as a person. They might say, I've waited until the last minute to approach this because just pause and they're like, oh, actually, because I was taking care of my grandmother who's dying of COVID. Oh, I feel really small now because, because I didn't ask that question. But how often does that happen to where our people are suffering and you don't know? My dog's not suffering. She's she's telling me she wants to come in.
What's your dog's name?
Luna.
She's a border collie.
She is a border collie.
She's smart. I got a border collie. She's the smartest border collie in marketing. She listens to every single one of these calls.
Yeah, Luna does my taxes. She's great.
Yeah.
That's how smart she is.
We're having a great conversation on the ROI Online podcast with Joe Paranteau. He's the author of Billion Dollar Sales Secrets, Superstar Selling Tips for All Seasons. And so, Joe, this has been an awesome conversation. So we're going to do a YouTube exclusive. We're going to talk about what's the main purpose for Native American storytelling, because you talk about storytelling and how it impacts sales, but we're going to do that on the YouTube channel. For those of you that want to find it, it's at the ROI Online YouTube channel. But here's a question I want to ask you is, what's one question you don't get to answer because no one ever asks it?
The question that I finished my book with is a question that I've never seen in any sales book. And it's one of those questions that I felt compelled to answer. And it's, what do you do if you're successful? It's one of the missing elements in sales mentorship and leadership because no one talks about it. Some people like sales because it's performance based. I found early in my career that there was no one to tell me what happens when you go from the kid who painted rocks door to door to make a buck to getting more bucks in your bank account in 30 days than you ever thought you could. And you live the rock star life and you make some of those dumb mistakes. One of my mistakes was, hey, I think I'll buy cars, monthly.
Wow.
So I bought a car this month. Next month, I bought a car. I went out to dinner all the time. I flipped completely from what you would expect me to do. And it took a lot of work to get to a place that, I approached things with gratitude. I learned to live hungry, cheaply, like the kid with the rock again, and be grateful. Invest for the rainy day and have your rainy day fund. So that's a question that people don't, I think, ask enough and talk about enough is let's develop a success plan here. But it's important because especially if you're trying to motivate yourself, your company, and your vision, having that plan of success and what you're planning to do is crucial.
I've been there. Yeah, I've been there. I was one of those companies that you were talking about. I was buying a big chunk of stock in one of those companies that disappeared after the crash. But I was investing that money. I wasn't buying cars necessarily, although I did buy some cars, but not one a month. But all of a sudden, things change. They dry up. Companies go away. Investments disappear.
But at least you were investing in an asset. Like Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki goes, an asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money away. And it strikes to financial education in our country. It's horrible. Nobody ever learns about money, and they definitely don't learn about selling. And these are two fundamental things that I know that are crucial to life. So we, people who have experienced these things need to be good stewards and entrust others with the knowledge that we've learned.
So, Joe, what's a great way for people to connect with you? That obviously they should buy your book, spend a little time with you there, but how can they connect with you?
I've made it easy because you wouldn't think that with a name like Paranteau, just spelling it is difficult. For everyone who's out here who wants to connect with me, I really enjoy it. You can find me anywhere on social media by the JPAR. JPAR is something that at Microsoft, they didn't want my name to be this long. So they started calling me JPAR. And it's much easier to say than Paranteau. But you can find me at the JPAR. That's a website, www.thejpar. It's also my handle on Instagram, Twitter, pretty much most of the social media platforms, Facebook. Reach out to me. I have a different personality on each social media platform. I try and let people in on my life and what I'm doing, but I really love to hear what they're doing, how I can impact, their business and questions and things that they learn. Some of the greatest joy that I've had in writing the book is having, sales leaders who I used to work for uh, turn around and scribble their notes. I put things for people to write on. This book isn't just a book you read. You can write in it and come up with your own ideas, because that's the point of it. The point is not me. The point is you. What are you going to do with these ideas and turn it around to make, your $1 billion secret a reality?
jpar.com.
Yep,
Joe,
the JPAR.
Joe Paranteau, $1 billion sales secrets, superstar selling tips for all seasons. You need to get the book. I imagine it's on Amazon.
It's Amazon. It's Barnes and Noble. It's even Walmart.com. Around the world, I found I've got readers in New Zealand. So for all my Kiwis and Aussies out there, shout out. But people in the UK, South Africa, Morocco, I've sold books in some pretty unlikely places that I never would have guessed. So and it's wonderful learning about the experiences of people and their businesses. Do reach out. I'm happy to hear what you're doing, and if anything I can do to help you, I'm all in.
Sales, the universal equalizer, the universal skill that all entrepreneurs need to develop. Another book on sales. I don't think you can read too many books on sales.
Joe, I read as many as I can, and it's like chiclets. I'll pop them in all the time. That's why I wanted to make this one a little different, and including some things that most sales books might not have. So I'm curious to know what people think of what they're doing. It's from the people who've read it so far, they've said, "Wow, this is a very different type of sales book. You really hit the the nerve with me." So
awesome, Joe. You've been a great guest on the ROI Online podcast.
Well, thank you. You've been a great host, and this has been an awesome audience. I've really enjoyed my time. Really have. It's one of the things that I've come to enjoy is connecting with the audience and learning. Talking, but yeah, the conversation's still out there. You've heard from me, and now I'd love to hear from you and your audience. And I appreciate you for having me on today.
My pleasure. Follow us on over to the YouTube channel, where we're going to learn about what was the main purpose for Native American storytelling from Joe Paranteau. And that's a wrap.